All right, hi, welcome back to my channel. I don't think I've been on here in a month. It feels like a really long time. August went really fast. Summer went really fast. So back to go over my August books. I still have my Liberty Nails. Today is the 4th of September, so I'm a little bit behind. But yeah, August went so fast, the summer went so fast, and so July was like probably one of my best reading months so far. Like the books were so amazing. And like as I looked back in August, they were pretty good too. As I'm looking forward, I have so many books to read. So in June, I marked all of the books on my TBR, like physically marked them with a Post-it note, everything I owned up to that point, and my goal was to read all of those by the end of the year. And if that is still my goal, there is a lot to read. So that might be kind of the focus of the next few months. I love a themed TBR though. So September's hard because it's like fall, but it's not like, it's like back to school and like a little bit of fall, but still like a little bit of summer. So those are probably going to be just like the books I want to read the most on my TBR. And then I'm hoping to hit up some like academia, like any books I have about school. And then October is like the rest of my like horror. Oh, here comes Mabel. And then November and December, I'm probably going to hit like just the rest of the books on my TBR really hard, because at that point I would like come January, I want to either have read them or unhaul them. So I think I might need to make some hard choices. Oh, Mabel, what are you doing? Say hi, Mabel. Oh no, don't do that. Say hi. You're so sweet, girl. Why don't you lay down? Just had a hard day today. Went and did some errands, and so I wasn't holding her. That's hard. That's really hard to not be held all the time, especially when she's at Grammy's house. Grammy doesn't hold her either. All right. So we ended August with These Summer Storms, July, which was such a good book. Like maybe a favorite of the year. I loved it so much. Then I wanted to read a lot on my Kindle because I have pretty recently purchased a Kindle, like a new Kindle. And there are a lot of ebooks that I've had like in my like Libby TBR for years. So that's probably going to be a theme of 2026, is just like getting rid of stuff that's been on my TBR for years. Like you either read them or you get rid of them. It's the purge. So a book that I've heard a lot about and I was able to get from the library was Archer's Voice. So our main character is kind of like fleeing from trauma in her own life, ends up in a small town, and she crosses paths with someone who is kind of like the town, what's it called? The town outcast. So as she gets to know him, he doesn't speak. So as she gets to know him, she like gets in on the like town drama. There's like a little bit of a love triangle. It was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. Definitely more of like a YA vibe, but still some like heavy content. I think I gave it like 3.75 stars. So it was a pretty good one. I don't know that I would read the next one. All right, and then a Charles Martin book that I need to stop reading these books. Okay, so like the first probably 2 of this series are absolutely amazing. And the third one, it's like he kind of ran out of plot, just kept writing. And the fourth one, like almost this whole book is flashbacks. Recaps of the other books, which was great because I forgot what happened, but that's the story. So Murphy Shepherd is like a super special agent who's also a priest. Yeah. You have to really suspend your disbelief for this but it works. So, like, super entertaining in the first few books, and then it just got to the point that it was, like, a little much. So he, like, his job is to, like, chase down sex traffickers and release people. His mentor, something happens, and so he's, like, reeling with that, and I don't want to give the plot away, but it just felt like a real cop-out. I just kind of annoyed, and now I feel like it felt like the series was, like, gonna end, which I still feel like it is, because it was, like, the water keeper, the, like, secret keeper, the page keeper, and then the keeper. So, like, I felt like, maybe it was running around. I felt like the keeper was, like, kind of stitching that up, but alas, he will probably write more books. I give it 3 stars. I feel like a story is only as good as, like, even if you have a good character, you have to have a good story. You can't just keep writing, like, just writing for fun. His other books are great too, so maybe we'll write something fresh. And not a Murphy Shepherd novel. I don't know. I read A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross because she wrote Divine Rivals, and I loved that book. And so A Fire Endless is the second in this duology. I do love a duology. It's so nice to just be like, I can read 2 books and this story is done. So in the first book, A River Enchanted, the east and west of this land, I didn't write down what the land is called, but the east and west are, like, very much separate. Like, people do not cross boundaries, but girls are going missing. There is some, like, fantasy to this, but it's, like, it's, like, spirits. So not necessarily, like, a lot of magic. And it's, like, I think it's Scottish. So, like, it's fun. It's a fun book, with some, like, darker themes. And there's also, like a blight that people are catching and dying, but the east and west won't communicate with each other. There's also, like, a prophecy of how they can, like, overcome this, but they won't work together. So this duology is about them overcoming it. So we have, like, a little bit of almost like a Romeo and Juliet situation. Yeah. So there's multiple characters that you, like, fall in love with in the first book, and so then they really matter to you in the second book. And I thought Fire Endless did a really good job. I listened to this on audiobook, and the audiobook was great. May or may not have missed some of the, like, context of it because I was driving through, like, rush hour Chicago traffic. So that sucked. Like, really, really bad. I hated it. But I gave this one 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. It's like, it was a good fantasy. I liked it. Then I read, oh my gosh, this has been on my TBR for so long, but Robert Jordan and, what's his name? Sanderson have kind of ruined me for this epic fantasy written by men. Like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. You have to, and, George R.R. Martin. 1, you gotta finish your books. 2, if you're gonna write 1,000-page books, you need to know where the plot's going before you're 4 deep, okay? And, like, Brandon Sanderson is, like, a 50% for me, because, like, Mistborn trilogy, love. That felt like there was a plan. Stormlight Archives, I don't know if I trust you. I read 4 1,200-page books. I have no idea where it's going, and I don't even want to pick up the 5th one at this point. So, all that being said, I read Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I don't know if that's how you say it. I really enjoyed this book, and then my brother-in-law told me that the first 2 are great, but he hasn't written the 3rd one, and it's been like 10 years. You can't trust men. Not with fantasy. So, this is like 2 time periods. So, what is currently happening and then the story that the bartender, or like innkeeper, is telling. The innkeeper is not what he appears to be. There is some magic. There is something ominous happening in the land currently, but we really just allude to it. And this was quite a long book. Like, it was 696 pages, and it's still, like, it really felt like a prologue, like, but it was so easy to read. The character was really lovable. Like, the things that happened to him were, like, kept the plot moving, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, another thing. So I was just, like, super interested to see where it went. I gave it 4 stars because I feel like this one book is really just not a standalone. Like, it's definitely, like, gearing up for something else. So I will read the second one I probably won't get to it until 2026, but I will be reading it, and then we'll just pray that he gets around to writing the third one, I guess. Which, is the third one the last one? Maybe not. Maybe not. Who knows? All right, then I challenged myself to read all of the Jennifer Lynn Barnes books that I had on my TBR, because I love her. I love her books, and so I just needed to get them off of my TBR. I feel like so this book came out and it was short stories, and I don't love short stories. It's just not my genre. So I pre-ordered this thinking it was the next one in the series, and when I like looked more into it, I was a little bit pissed about it because I don't really like short stories. So I put it off until Glorious Rivals came out, because this was actually part 2 of The Grandest Game. So the Inheritance Cycle, the first 3 books are about this billionaire who dies, and he like gives his fortune away to someone that seems unrelated to him. Those books are 5 out of 5, all 3 of them. Bam, bam, bam. There's another book that like goes with those 3 called The Brothers Hawthorne. So those are kind of like tied up together. Then, starting with The Grandest Game, we start a new game. So the person who inherited is now with the Brothers Hawthorne putting on a game because they have billions of dollars. And so this is a way that they are, like, because they love, like, mysteries and puzzles, and they play them with each other all the time. So The Grandest Game, it's going to be a 3-part book. So this is The Grandest Game, Glorious Rivals, and the next one is going to be The Gilded Blade, and that comes out in 2026. So we learned a lot more in this book, but it definitely like ends like the last one did, where it's just like on a cliffhanger. Reading these short stories did give a little bit of information for this book. I don't know that you have to read it though. Yeah, I just like a bigger story arc. So short stories are not that fun to me, which is why I tend to like sweeping stories. Like, I love Gone with the Wind. I know she's problematic. I know it's problematic. I know. But I do love, like, I love that deep, like, character study on Scarlet. Like, she is a fucking mess. Like, absolutely. I love a high fantasy. I love a long series of fantasy. I love fantasy, if you're wondering. But short stories just don't really do it for me all the time, you know? Like, I don't even read bonus chapters at the end of books. I don't. A lot of time, like, especially if it's like a smutty book, no. If the sex is done, I'm done too. Like, I don't need to know that you got happily married. I'm kind of assuming, and you probably didn't. I don't know. So I'm not a short stories person. I'm not a bonus chapters. I'm not like, I can be a sucker for a different perspective. Sometimes. So anywho, this one got 3 stars. Just because I didn't feel like it added to like the overall story. This one got 4.75. She good. I still love The Inheritance Cycle. I do. And a few books later, I read The Naturals. So this is a different series. I've owned this book for probably 2 years. I've always wanted to read it. It was very good. There are 3 more books in the cycle, so Killer Instinct, All In, and Bad Blood are all part of this. So our main character, her mom was like a medium, and she can like intuit from people lots of things. And like maybe it's a magical power, maybe it's not. So she's called a natural. So the FBI is recruiting her to be part of like a teen crime fighting organization. And they're not even like really, like they're training them. They're not really letting them like work cases. But this case seems to be tied to her mother's death. So there's a lot of personal stuff. Then she finds herself like being stalked by the killer. Lots of twists and turns. Honestly, a lot happened in this pretty short book. So I liked it a lot. I gave it 4 stars. I will be reading the rest. That's what I can tell you. All right, now to catch up on the audiobooks that I read at the same time as that. So I listened to Unravel Me. This is, they're the iBooks to me. It's like, I think it's the Shatter Me series. So our main character, when she touches people, it hurts them or they die. Like this society has people who have like special powers. So her special power, which means that she cannot touch anyone ever, is to like touch them and they die. She's learning more about her powers in this book. She's also trying to figure out why the general who like runs the country, who she's in like rebellion against, his son, so he's supposed to be evil, this son that she's had interactions with, he can touch her. She doesn't know why. And the boy that she loves can touch her, or so she thinks. Why those two? So that is still a mystery. Honestly, I've been drawn to these books for years because of the cover art. It's gorgeous. So everyone has a different eye. And like, I don't normally like eyes on books. They're creepy, but these are beautiful. Like, this is like icicles. So pretty. So that was like a 3.5. I do think I'll keep reading, but very YA. Very like surface level fantasy dystopian. And then I read A Hard Row to Hoe. And I don't know what the cover art has to do with this at all. It's by Blessed Toaster. This is fanfic. It's Hermione. It is good. It's really good. The plot was good. The romance was good. There actually wasn't that much spice. Like there was a lot of like yearning and like lead up to it. But Draco and Hermione actually spend a lot of time apart in the book. But it's still so good. Like I loved the magic. I loved the plot. I loved what was happening. So Draco is basically, so he was sentenced to Azkaban. But instead of going to Azkaban, he joined like an elite, like became like a 007. So I can't remember what his handle is. But like he doesn't know who any of the people that he works with are even, because they use like helmets and they use polyjuice potion if they're like together ever. So he does not know who is in his like crew with him even. And he like he knows of Hermione. She like works at the ministry, but like they don't ever cross paths. Like everyone thinks that Draco is just like a playboy who's just like living off his millions, and he's not working at all. And oh, it's so good. So Draco's whole team, almost the whole team, is murdered. And so he's like reeling from that and dealing with it, and he runs into Hermione a few times and they start to fall in love. But then the evil person that he is like chasing starts to target Hermione. So like secrets are revealed. Oh, it's so good. It's good. It's really good. Then he finds out like who else was on this crew, which that was fun. Oh, it was great. I loved it. 5 stars. Like this is how you do fanfic. Yearning and like thanks to J.K. Rowling for making these characters, but this fanfic, Hermione fanfic, is maybe going to be my new favorite genre. Is it a genre? Yeah, probably. speaking of on the TBR for a long time, working through the back catalog of Adrienne Young, one of my favorite authors, especially adult, not necessarily her YA. So, The Girl the Sea Gave Back, this is like a Viking tale. So our main character, her clan thought she was dead, sends her out to the sea. Another clan finds her, and she has like the gift of like prophecy. So they use her, they're afraid of her, so they don't like have community with her, but they use her to figure out what to do in battle, etc. But then there's like some betrayal that happens. Then she finds out that some of her family is still alive. So lots going on. So it's like a war, and she's being pitted against the different clans, but she's has some feelings for a man in the other clan. So yeah, it was good. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. Adrienne Young has moved on to do bigger and better things. Spells for Forgetting. Oh my gosh, what's it called? It's like the best book ever. The Unmaking of June Farrow. Read that one. Just read it. And then there's like the Sea of Forgotten Things, or something like that. Also good. All right, I'm in my mediocre zone at this point. So then I read Good Girl Complex. This is a book. So I like Elle Kennedy. I like her hockey stuff a lot. This was not great. The main character was super annoying. So the main character, Mackenzie, goes to college just because her parents force her to. She's already like a billionaire because she owns an app where people like complain about their boyfriends, but she has to go to college because I don't know why. I don't know why she goes to college, because if you don't need the money from your parents, why are you going? But her long-term boyfriend, who's a total asshole, goes there. Well, he's cheating on her all the time. And a townie who is wronged by her boyfriend makes a bet that he's gonna date her. Well, they start dating, and then there's a big reveal at the end. I thought it was annoying. I think that if I liked the characters, it would have been a fine story, but they were annoying. And I just didn't buy this girl being with that boyfriend. Like, it didn't make sense at all. She would not have put up with him. She would not have done long distance like that. So it didn't really make sense. So I gave it 3 stars. I got through it. It was fine. Oh, okay. Then I finished the month off pretty strong. So I finally read the 3rd Gilmore Girl. This was good. I knew that Kelly Bishop was like had a very long career, but I didn't know what she did. She was a dancer. I guess I should have assumed because like bunheads and stuff. But I love Gilmore Girls. I will read every memoir that these women put out. Like, I've read all of Lauren Graham's stuff, I'm pretty sure. The more like behind the scenes I can get, the better. Because it honestly just sounds like they just really enjoyed their time on the show. And the show just holds up after all these years, especially now that it's like even more popular than it was when it was on the air. It's also fall, so I feel like I'm gonna probably just do like a Gilmore Girls binge pretty soon. It's so good. Like, probably like top 5 show of all time for me. Just the feelings, the banter, the characters, the longevity, the love stories, the characters. Anywho. This is a delight. She was also in Dirty Dancing, which is one of my favorite movies. And I need to go like watch A Chorus Line now, because she apparently, like, some of that was based off of her life, which I did not know. I've never seen that show. So I gave this 5 stars, even though I'm not supposed to rate memoirs, but Kelly Bishop, she's amazing. And I think her real name was Carol. What an upgrade. Kelly. Then I read Girls with Bright Futures. So, All the Girls I've Been, something like that. I think it's All the Girls I've Been. That book was amazing. This book was also amazing, but that's why I read it, because the other book, the premise was amazing and it was so good. And this, I didn't love the premise so much. I don't even know that I read the premise, but it like gripped me right away. The writing was so good. So the premise of this book is that we are at like a prep school that people are promised that they're going to get into the Ivy League. So our main characters, like the mainest of characters, there's a lot of characters, are this mom and daughter who they have a pretty sordid past. Like they've been homeless. Like yeah. So there's more about their past that you find out. And the daughter wants to go to Stanford. But in like the first chapter, Stanford is like, hey, we took too many athletes from this school. So there's only one spot left for academia. And we're probably not going to give it to somebody that has like actual academia. We're probably going to give it to this rich bitch's daughter. So the moms all start like fighting over it. So there are like 3 moms and 3 daughters that you follow pretty closely. So the most main of characters is this woman who works for the super rich lady and her daughter, who like they are there on scholarship, and like they're trying not to rock the boat because the employer is paying their way. The employer is a horrible person. Her daughter doesn't want to go to Stanford, but she's like forcing her to go. Then there's a third family that like they are barely scraping by to get their kids into school. She's made it her full-time job to get her kids into college. And that girl does want to go to Stanford. So it's like, you're like fighting like these kids that, what do the kids want? What do the parents want? And like the shenanigans that happen in this book. It was crazy. So I highly recommend this. Oh, my iPad's jumping out of my hands. Highly recommend Girls with Bright Futures by Tracy Dobmeyer and Wendy Katzman. It was so good. So 5 stars. 5. And I think it's probably a pretty old book. So I need to look and see if they've written more books. Or I think Tracy Dobmeyer wrote the other book I love. I think it's All the Girls I've Been Before. Because it's like a girl who has, like, her mom was a con artist. So she's got all these like different personalities and how they help her like get out of a bank robbery. Fun premises. Okay, then another book that I have heard a lot of things about, but I was kind of like waiting to see what happened with it. Silver Elite. This book was really good. So at the end, I did feel like it kind of zigged when I thought it was going to zag. So I gave it 4 stars. I'm kind of waiting to see what the next book will do. This is a dystopian story. All right, so our main character, Ren, is what they call a mod. So she's like a modified human. She has telepathy and then like some other powers that we're learning more about. And her guardian that she grew up with is like found out to be who he is. So she like goes to his execution, and then she's forced to be recruited into this like silver like team. Well, Silver Elite is like the highest like like the Navy SEALs. So it's like the Navy and then the Navy SEALs. So she like is like, well, I don't want to do it. So why would I do it well? And they're like, well, because we'll probably kill you otherwise. So she's like just barely scraping by to get through. And then she finds out that like the resistance can use her if she gets into Silver Elite. So then she suddenly starts like trying to do really well. And they're very skeptical of her. So she's like trying to help the resistance and like take down this like government. But she's also like falling in love with the general's son. Sorry, I'm drinking a beer and it is making me burpy. So she's fallen in love with this general's son. There's a couple more twists and turns in there that I can't give it all away. But it was very readable. It reminds me of like early like not Allegiant. I hated that book. But like Divergent and Insurgent, and like just the dystopian times that I grew up in, you know, like gosh, Hunger Games, that was good dystopian. So apparently it's coming back. This was good. I feel like the next one's like Crimson something. I'm not sure. But I would read this. It was good. It was really good. I'm excited to see what they yeah, like where they go with it. Because obviously, like, the resistance is never like a straightforward good thing either, right? Like, they're killing people too. So we always have to deal with that. All right, then I listened to A Court That's Cruel and Lovely. This is another like romantasy that's been on my list for a while. I feel like I heard somebody say it was amazing and then I've never heard of it again. So I'm not 1000% sure that I'll keep reading. It was entertaining. So another, like, I feel like I read so many books that were the same genre and the same storyline this month. So that got a little bit old. I needed to do a little palate cleanse. So this is another fantasy where our main character has magical powers. She has time power. And she is going to be killed because they found out that she has time power. So she, like, flees. And then she's trying to, just flee. And she, like, falls among a band of merry men. And they, like, save her life and then just, like, part ways, but they keep running into each other, and she's maybe got some sexual tension with the main guy. It's like Lorian, I think. Then she finds her brother, and they are trying to, like, pull off a heist in the castle, and then we're finding, like, other people with magical powers. And then there's a big twist at the end, and you don't know who. Well, because it's like humans, hybrids, and fae, I think, is what you find out about, like, their powers and stuff. So I think it's like I think there's another like 5 books in the series. I don't know that I will read more. I might. Also, this room got so dark since I started. All right. Then I listened to Don't Believe Her. This book was kind of bonkers. So yeah, I mean, it was entertaining. So our main character is Ellie, and her best friend Carla went missing when they were, like, teenagers. And so she's kind of always been on the lookout for her. Now, present day, Ellie has a daughter. She's engaged to Carla's brother and, like, lives in the house with his mom and him. And she's still looking for Carla. Named her daughter Carly after her. Like, kind of obsessed with her. And so she was going to go on, like, a podcast where they would, like, hopefully hunt her down or, like, figure out what happened. And suddenly she appears. They found her after all these years, but she's, like, acting weird. She doesn't trust that it's her. And so Ellie's, like, trying to prove that this is not Carla. The brother is like, it is Carla. Like, lots of secrets, lots of things that we're hiding. Lots of situations that I would not personally have gotten myself in. Right? So, like, even though it feels like maybe in the end it was worth it, was it? Was it? Like, we could have just walked away. We could have. So, I did give it 4 stars, I think. But I don't know that I would recommend it. Okay. Then I read Swept Away by Beth O'Leary. I like Beth O'Leary books a lot. So the Flat Share is one that just, like, really stands out to me. I love that one. Swept Away, a ridiculous premise. Our 2 main characters are, like, going to a houseboat to bang on a one-night stand. They both think that they own the boat. And so that's weird. Which they both kind of do or did at one time. And as they're getting on the boat, they hook the boat up to itself. So when they wake up, they are out to sea. And it's not as cute as it seems. I had a lot of anxiety reading this book because they are actually stranded for almost the whole book. Like, it's pretty long. And it gets to the point where it's like, oh shit, they probably are gonna die. Like, what the heck? So a little bit more, like, serious than I was expecting. And yeah, like, I legitimately, like, liked these characters and had anxiety for them. So keep that in mind. I think I gave it 4 stars. Because, yeah, I feel like maybe if we'd been found, like, a few days earlier, it would have been a little more lighthearted. And then there's a twist, and then we're dealing with that. So it's like, not only was like the time that they're out to sea enough, but then like something happens in real life, you know? So it was good. You should read it. But maybe you'll get too invested in the characters and feel like you're drowning. I don't know. Maybe. All right. I think that's it. I think that those are the books I read. And then I read 2, like I was reading 2 the last day, but I didn't actually finish them until September 1st. So they will be in my September. And now that it is so dark, and it's probably time for me to go eat dinner if it's this dark outside. That was August. Summer's over. It was good. And I feel like Labor Day was like just a perfect weather day. It was like 78 degrees. It was so beautiful. Like, and now it's been like 60. So like feels like fall, which is weird. It's kind of get hot again, right? Like we always have false fall. I don't know. And now at work, we're in like the busiest few days of the year because September has the most birthdays. So like I've heard different dates from every single person who tells me this, but the most common birthdays are in September. So like most people in the world are born on like September 17, 19, 12, like those dates. So even though we have the most babies born in the summer, we like to end a bang with the first few weeks in September. So it's just really busy and lots of babies. All right. So I think I'm going to do a vlog for like just the rest of my TBR for the rest of the year. And kind of keeping track of that, or I might just like post to Instagram, but I will see you at the very least at the end of September. Bye.